G'day my friends, Marty Q A here from Marty's Garden on YouTube. We've got a cool live show for you today. Yep, a full Q&A. You can ask me anything about worm farming, gardening, organic gardening, permaculture, composting, anything along those lines. You might have a different type of gardening question for me. I'm here to help you if I can. I don't know everything, but I will do my best, guys, to get this. I just need to fix this camera up a bit. While I'm waiting for the crew to roll in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a quick little video of Pepe's worm farm and we'll go over that. We'll have a look at it. It's using the model which I call the Taj Mahal. It's an intermediate worm farm. It's very good for breeding up numbers and also creating what I call a worm drench. Now this drench can be used in all types of fertilizing methods, but for now we're just going to look at his worm farm, and then tomorrow you'll be able to watch the full video as it will be released in the morning. All right, let's get into it. Whoa, so that was all blocked up, mate.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I'm gonna have to clean that tap out. Happens now and then.
I remove taps. I've only got one tap on my farms because they always block up all the time. Yeah. And then your worms,
sediment.
They go down the bottom sometimes and they don't drown. It takes about 4 days for them to drown. As you can see, like there's a worm floating around in there.
There we go, yeah.
And if he's been in there around about 4 days,
yeah,
they let something out of their skin, some type of oxalic acid or something, and they don't actually drown. They kill themselves. That's the one that I sort of like recommend.
Yeah.
For doing veggie gardens and beds and a breeder box.
Yeah.
So really there's like an intermediate style farm, right? So this one, so what we'll do is, so I'll just explain a bit what the Taj Mahal system is. It's actually, so we've got 3 tiers on this one, which can be a 2 to 3 tier farm. And then the top ones have like sugarcane or some type of bale system in them. Sugarcane or straw or something like that. And you've been feeding yours microgreens, these lots.
For this week I have, yeah. We've had a sunflower harvest. So
let's have a look inside.
So, yeah, these were from the harvest on 2 days ago.
Yeah, right. So they've got to break down a bit before they'll start eating that.
Absolutely, but that's on the top.
Yeah.
A lot of holes. There's a little bit of leaf in there. And
there's a lot of moisture locked in that as well. Like normally in a beginner farm I would say that's too much food.
Yeah,
but on a Taj Mahal system, you can sort of pull it off because we're dealing with a lot more carbon inside the farms. And, you know, when you've got a lot of worms, they'll go through that pretty quick because as soon as that moisture locks out of there, it's just going to break down real fast, right?
Yeah, here you can see the old... Like
there's even like sunflower shell in there and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm imagining as a carbon type element to it all.
So how long's it taken before till that would disappear, do you reckon? All that
a week, mate.
Seriously,
so it'll be breaking down.
Yep.
And they'll be definitely into it. And watching videos of yours in the past, I've taken levels off and put it into the garden, which I'll show you later.
Yeah. Can we just pull off another level and then we'll have a look in the garden as well.
So there's a few
on what you're working with.
That was a bit of leftover.
Yeah, so they'll work over this part first and then they'll probably move up through into there. So you've got you start off about 1,000 in here, right?
Yeah, I just got a packet from Bunnings.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to actually put some more sugarcane into the farms now. Yeah, a bit more carbon.
Sure, mate. What about banana leaf?
Yeah, that would work. Yeah. Yeah, if it's free and it's just lying around, you just chop it up with some scissors and be just as good as sugarcane. Who knows, it might even be better. And let's get that, we're losing all that beautiful juice there.
No, mate, look at that. Bloody murder.
It's not going to fit under there, mate.
No,
Never mind. We'll sort it out later. But this juice that you've been getting out of there, now this is not leaching through. You're pouring it through a whole lot of water in one go, catching it, and then we take it over to this garden over here where we're going to go over and let's go and
that's right, mate. And I
show people what you've been doing with the new. Okay, so that's the first part of the video that'll be out tomorrow, and we actually show how he uses the juice around the farm. It's actually a type of drench, so it's not a leachate at all. And what we do is the farm's got to be made in a particular way. If you're starting off at worm farming, you're better off learning, like either in my ebook or in the Worm Wranglers members area there, and learning how to worm farm. And this is more of an intermediate type of farm and is very good. And I do teach this this method, something very similar for beginners also inside the Worm Wranglers members area. So what we've done today is we've done something a little bit different. We're trialing the chat in the box as well as on the side, so I can drag your questions across, and so people can read them in the reruns, because I've just noticed there's so much value being added. And yeah, I just want to thank you for turning up for the show. We do have, looks like Daniel's wife is here today, Daniel O'Brien, which will be from the Chicken Tractor, Bronwyn, and she has some questions. And Daniel's actually coming this Saturday as a special guest. We're talking about chickens and how many can you have on your farm or homestead or in your backyard, along those lines. So if you've got a question, remember to leave a big Q for me there so I can see them, because sometimes a lot of people chatting and things, and I want to be able to pull across the right stuff. And have a little bit of patience with me, guys. I'm always testing this software and trying to learn how to get better at what I do here and produce a better show for the lives and also for the reruns. So I'm just going to zoom myself in a little bit closer there. There we go. And we will hit with the questions. Now, a lot of people have just said hello at the beginning here, so we will bring them through. And Bronwyn, nice to see you here, Bronwyn. I see you said something about worm farming, so we'll get to that as we sort of move down. I'm looking forward to having Dan on the weekend. And Deb here. G'day, Deb. Deb's our moderator for today. And good morning, Marty, and good morning, Worm Wranglers. And we'll keep moving down here. Right, we've got our first question. As you said, a big Q at the front really helps, and you can read them. Depending if you're watching on the TV, you can now read them on the side of the live show, and also as I pull them out at the same time. So you get to see who's in here in the community. I think this is a really good way to do it. And let me know what you guys think also in the comments box. If you're watching the rerun, that's really important. And during the live show, if you dig this. All right, let's keep moving. On the rocks in the soil, Michael Godbold. I've heard theories that having growing plants in your worm beds increases fungal count in beds because beneficial fungus needs living roots to bond with it. What's your view? Yes. This is why roots always come in the ground from weeds and things. Weeds will turn up in bare ground, put roots in the ground so we can start getting fungal domination and microbials and building a soil web. So keep in mind that it's really about the soil web, and the fungal dominance in there actually plays a huge role of allowing the plants to uptake the correct nutrients and sharing sugars and all those type of things, and also passing on lots of different other stuff that I won't mention here today because we be getting a bit scientific. But so the theories of growing plants in your worm beds. Now, I wouldn't put them in my worm beds myself, but I do grow them around the bottom of the biggest worm farms ever, and around also in-ground worm farms. So yes, not sure about putting them in your worm beds. I think that's a bit of a waste of time, mate. 10% is what I recommend for using your worm castings if you're going to use it in that way on the garden. But great question. And Bronwyn, we have a worm farm like this, and we have a bathtub. Oh, wonderful. I don't think I saw one here last time. But that's really great. And I've spoken with Dan a few times about this, and we use coffee grounds now. Yeah, perfect thing if you can get hold of it up. There's so much of it around. Probably the hardest thing with coffee grounds is just going to collect it all from the cafes. That's what I've found. But if you've got the time and the resources, do it. It makes one of the best worm food, and also feeds a lot of nitrogen in the system and helps build fungal dominance and all that stuff. And so they farm mushrooms using coffee grounds, right? So it works. And let's keep moving through here. And remember, any question is okay. Don't feel afraid to ask anything. We're all here at different levels, from beginner through to intermediates through to experts. And you know, you'll find that you'll get good answers also at times in the comments, and what people are sharing in the chat, and also from myself if I can answer the question. Any tips on bathtub farms or coffee? Okay, so bathtub farms, if you're going for the liquid, have more compost, as much compost in there as possible. Go as deep as you can to hold the weight, because you will get, if you're buying just the normal worms, you say from Bunnings and things like that, I know the ones that you buy down that way, they're full of all different types of night crawlers. They like a deeper bedding. They won't try to escape if they've got more bedding and more space, and you can breed. And so feed at one end, if you don't know this already, feed at one end of the bathtub and then slowly down move through to get to the other end, and then you can harvest the castings at one end and start from the other end and go back. So that's the way that you harvest it. And we'll keep moving through there. So great question. Thank you very much for that. And good morning, Alison. I think that was a good idea, playing that little video before people start rolling in. But people started coming in within about 2 minutes, which was really, really cool. And so remember, any questions that you have on gardening, happy to answer them and do the very best I can. Now, this channel is all about producing habitat above the ground and below the ground, and using the power of compost worms to make your own fertilizers and things like that. Now, in that video that you saw, which will be the full one or finish tomorrow, we'll show you the ratios for and adding to the plants and things. That type of worm farming is really, really good, and I've got about 12 of them. And at the beginning, you don't want to have one of those farms. Peppy probably went a bit in too early building one like that. You probably should have just had one stage at the beginning, and then once he got the populations right up, then added to his second stage. But it's still working for him. You know, you can make lots of mistakes in these worm farms and they still work, but they've got to flow. If you're pouring the water in like that, like one bucket at a time, the tap's got to be open, right? You've got to take the tap off because they've got to flow, because we're using a lot more water than normal. And you've got to be careful, because it's got to flow really well, because if it gets too wet, it brings in other types of pests and things like that. And that's why I'm saying it's more of an intermediate farm. You might see a little red spider mite in there start to populate if it gets too wet and there's not much airflow. But as I said, Worm Wrangler 3, it's in the comments box, it's in the description down below, as well as access to other materials such as ebooks and things like that. So don't feel scared to ask any questions. And we've got about 9 people rolled in today. It's a little bit quieter than usual, but I find that the Ask Marty Anything questions ones, they're not as big, they're not as popular, because we're not really going over a subject, an educational subject. But I feel that we need to probably pull one of these out once a week, because there's times when someone's coming into a live show and they're like, I want to ask a question, but it's irrelevant to the content. And I always say, ask me right at the end of the video if it's something that's a bit different. And some people hang around and are happy for that, and then others want to get their questions. So this is a bit of a trial period as well with a Q&A to see how this works, because people might come in and just ask their question and then just leave too, but I guess that's all right as well. And yeah, we can say hello to a few crew here. That's what's good about this community, is people get to jump in, say hi, ask questions, and get any information that they need. So regarding the bathtub worm farm, as I said, just feed from one end and go through. Make sure it doesn't get blocked up, and keep it, you know, in the shade, shaded, out of the sun, in a good spot like that. And yeah, those things just explode. And if you're feeding coffee grounds, again, just feed at one end, like 1/8 or something like that, along the surface. If you put it on too thick, it goes crusty and crunchy, depending on where you're getting it from, just from your house or from a local cafe or something along those lines. And it becomes a little bit hydrophobic if you put it on too thick. This is just from my trial and errors, but it makes a high quality compost and casting at the end, because it has around about I think it has around about 17 minerals in it. Now 11 is basically the base, and then they can, depending on what farms they're coming from, it can have lots and lots of minerals in it. So as I said, don't feel scared to ask any questions at all, any gardening questions that you may have. It's a little bit quiet here in the chat today, and I thought we would have had a few more questions than this. So anyway, I'll let you know what I'm doing in the garden, what I'm planting now. So I've got, I'm looking forward to the chilies growing. So now it's getting hotter. I'm working on my papaya trees, my chilies, better leaf, the kangkong, Asian greens that grow really well, different types of tomatoes that perform well in the heat as well. And my herbs and things, I'm trying to shade them a bit more. And I've actually got my first harvest of corn come through, and I've left the stalks in the raised beds, and I've planted some tomatoes in underneath, so they get a little bit of spattled shade when they're first starting to get their roots down. So they're sort of slowly sun hardening, and then the corn ones will die back, or I'll cut them right at the bottom of the bed and just throw them into the compost. So I'm using different things to shade different stuff now. And I'm catching as much rain as I can in my wheelbarrow, because I don't have a water tank coming off the side of the house. I could probably connect one up if I asked the Housing Commission guys if I could do that. And so, yeah, so look, as I said, feel free to ask me any questions, and we usually get some really good stuff going on. And, you know, I've been talking a lot about bottle gardening lately. We've been talking about, you know, we've been obviously covering worm farming, talking about wood chips. We've been also looking at biodiversity. We've been talking about that a lot, how now it's getting warmer. A lot of the insects are starting to turn up a little bit later because you've had La Nina and stuff like that. But they're all starting to turn up and get more dominant, and little skinks and lizards are coming up. We're seeing the odd snake here and there. So it's been pretty interesting so far growing the garden, but I believe that we're going to go out of the La Nina. We may go into a neutral, which means we'll get really good weather for a while, and hopefully we don't flip onto the other side, La Nina, where we get you know, the drought, and we go back to fires and all that type of stuff. But I'm sure someone must have a worm farming question here. If you don't, everything's going really well for you guys, and your gardens are just powering, and so I don't know what to say. But I know Deb here, she bought some seeds from, I'll see if we can pull up the members area here. Let's see if that comes up, and we'll go through and see if we can find that, and then I'll pull it up in a little bit. We might have some few questions start rolling in, and we can then share the page for that and show you something that I think is pretty cool. Okay, so we got something from Allison here. I'm starting again after BSFL took over my worm farm. How do I prevent them? Sorry, I don't understand that abbreviation. And put a Q in front of any questions, please, guys. It's not too bad today, but we're just trying to create that sort of habit. So BSFL, black soldier fly, is that what we're talking about? They generally come after the meats, or if there's just too much food. And I always teach this a lot in the Worm Wranglers, the members area, about how much we should feed and when to feed them, pull off feed, put more carbon in, things like that. So generally we pull back on the feed and put more carbon in. But it's good to have a little carbon source that's already soaking or getting a bit of age. So when we add it to the worm farm, it's already got some bacteria and it's starting to break down a little bit. That just sort of helps with things. Okay, let's go over to here. And when can I scale my 1 bathtub to 2 bathtub farms? Depends on how long you've had your farm for, because it's hard to count numbers and things like that. So let me know how long you've had your farm for, and if they're feeding really voraciously, and if you're seeing a lot of cocoons in there, and then I can answer that question. But overall, what we need to do is we need to have fairly good numbers. So we're looking through everywhere through our farm, and we sort of like, you know, the odd spot we mightn't see any worms, but most spots we're looking for worms. And then when we're feeding in one spot, really voracious, a lot going there. We're looking through the top layer of the bedding, we're seeing some cocoons and things. Then yeah, we can move it over. But the other way is to actually like start building that one, put it fairly close by. So it's just like, you know, within walking, wheelbarrowing around and stuff like that. And start getting the compost bedding ready and start getting some carbon in there and things like that, and treat it like a composting system in a way. And then when it really starts breaking down, then just start adding some worms from that one farm into there, and you'll find that it'll explode. So hopefully that's answered your question there for you. Let's keep moving through. Do I just put a couple of handfuls of worms in the new bathtub? Yeah, so I think I answered that question in the beginning. So set it up first and then just start, if you feel like there's a lot, like I said, then start moving them across. And if you've had it for over a year, I would say more likely it's ready to go. So just start preparing the next one to scale up through the next one. And if I miss anything, please forgive me. I'll do the best I can to, and let me know what you think about that little chat box in the side. Generally, it's a bit more active than this, but some people might start rolling through and asking some questions soon. Can I overdo adding dry grass clippings? Yeah, it can get hot. It's a heavy form of nitrogen, so you want to keep it fairly light. In outdoor composting systems, we throw them into hot nitrogen mixers. So yeah, be a little bit careful. They work better in outdoor worm farms, like in say like a bathtub where you can put it down one end and the heat will escape and the worms will move up to the other end. So not so much in the enclosed ones. I stay away from grass in the enclosed systems. It's a bit like adding too many coffee grounds into an enclosed worm farm. Is it true that food grows extra fast if you have a storm? It's the nitrogen coming out of the air. There might be other minerals in the air, but I don't. All I know is with nitrogen coming down, when the rain falls, it traps it, hits it, pushes it down into the ground, and then that oxygen that's coming in with the water, it's actually getting into the soil profile. So you've got a good soil profile, or even just pots that are really sort of doing really well, above ground raised beds, things like that. It definitely helps. That's why I always see good things after the rain. Now, I argued with a homesteader years ago. She's going, oh, everything's going acidic after the rain. I'm going, yeah, because you're digging all the time. They're doing these digging practices, right? So it should be working the other way around, is actually the ground's improving over time when we get this rain coming through. So great question, Mrs. Wobbles. Thank you for that. And you're very welcome there, Bronwyn. Glad to be of help. And as I said, I'm really stoked to have Dan coming on the show this Saturday. Exciting stuff. Our first official guest since we've moved over into the new format. All right, let's keep moving through here. Oh yes, Marty, the chat box is brilliant. I'm on my phone and I just noticed your rolling chat box includes Facebook. I can't see those otherwise here on YouTube. So maybe if you're in Facebook, you'll only see the Facebook one. If you're in YouTube, you'll see the other one. I'm not really 100% sure how that works. I can sort of see everything rolling through on my right side, but it'll tell me if it's Facebook there. And as I pull that across, the Daniel O'Brien, coming from Daniel O'Brien, his wife Bronwyn, is coming in from Facebook from what I can see. So yeah. Awesome stuff. Let's keep rolling through. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go and we're going to share a page here, share a screen, and we're going to go looking for this inside the Worm Wranglers Facebook members area. All right, so hang in there. I'm going to show you something that someone, Deb did actually, and I'm pretty sure she'd be happy for me to show people if we can find it, if all goes well. Okay. There it is there, right? So we're inside our group, and I think we've got around about 14 members now. This is for Worm Wrangler members that are in the YouTube Worm Wranglers member, or on the Buy Me a Coffee page membership. So the cheapest way to get in is through the YouTube one, which is $3 AUD if you just go as a Worm Wrangler 1, but you only get access to this. You don't get access to all the courses and things. So if you're doing it hard on dough and you want the courses, go in on the 3, join Worm Wrangler 3, do everything, learn it, follow it, get it sorted, get your worm farms going right, get your underground worm farming going right, learn your breeding, your worm teas, all that stuff. And then just go back to level 1, and you can stay in the members area and share your images like this. So let's keep scrolling down through here. And so there's Cheryl's worm farm. I've got to get here and make some comments. It's a fairly new piece of content. This is the one I wanted to show here, and let's have a look at this. Good on you, Deb. This is pretty exciting, right? So she's bought a 5-bean mix from Woolies, and then got a hanging basket, put a whole lot of seed in with some compost potting mix, something like that. And look at them. They're all growing really great. So really good little tip there. That's just been put through into the Worm Wranglers members area from Deb. She's the admin in here, and you can see there's lots of little posts and things going through, lots of worm farming stuff, lots of gardening stuff, and it's a very new. Okay, we'll get rid of that now, and it's very, very new, guys, and we've only really just started it, and it's still in its trial beta stage, so to speak. We really need to have about 100 people because it's so cheap. It just needs to be volume. Otherwise, we need to look at other ways, or just sort of pull the pin on it. But it's worth giving a shot. And you don't have to go there to get access to me. You can be at the lives like this and things like that. But if you want to share videos, photos, put other things in, ask other questions and stuff, there will be other members going in there in time, and they'll be able to help as well. As they're learning to become better at what they do, they'll be able to share their experiences inside there. Okay, the obsessive gardener. I buried a bucket of red wigglers in the yard last fall and covered it in wood chips and pine needles. Now it's been covered in snow since November. Do you think they'll live? Yeah, look, they can go down to quite low temperatures. They just go into like a metabolic state. Their heart rate slows down a whole lot. As long as they don't freeze too much, then, like and go to ice. Then I've heard of people way up north in Canada doing this and having good success. But if you want to do it right, the right way is you build right before, the snow and things like that. You build at least a meter cube, so 3 cubic meter, and get it hot, and then put the worms in there, and then sort of cover it over with something, and it'll hold its heat as it's sort of breaking down over time, and the worms will go to right where they want to be. So really great question there, Obsessive Gardener. Thank you so much for that. On the rocks, in the soil, Michael Godbold. I've been thinking about using straw bales as mushroom substrate, then after done, use for greens, etc. What's your thoughts on this? I think that's a brilliant idea myself. I've always loved the concept of doing the mushrooms, and then actually like because I use mushroom compost all the time, and then using it as a compost, and then putting it through the worm farms and stuff like that, taking it to that next level. If you can do that, like I've had mushrooms popping up in these systems, and I've had normal mushrooms come up, edible ones come up from my mushroom compost, and then but I've never actually taken it on where I've gone, hey, I'm going to do it. If I was going to do it that way, I'd use coffee grounds because it's easy access, but you just need some type of nitrogen, so you could use chicken manure as well. So great question. And after it's done, used for greens, etc., what's your thought on it? Just brilliant. If you do it, let me know how it goes, and I'd love to know, yeah, how well it's done. Thank you so much for sharing that. Absolutely, show it, Marty. Well, we did. We've moved through. I've got some great questions rolling in now. And it just takes a while for people to come in. Now, if you're coming in a little bit later, I ran a quick video just showing one of my Pepe Fasos's worm farm and how he sort of like got it running and stuff like that. And it's the first part to another part of a video where we show how we extract the juice out of there and then use it on the garden and stuff. So some great questions. Let's keep moving forward with this. Have you ever tried growing mushrooms? I've had a couple of goes at it, doing it in those boxes, the kits that you buy. I've probably had about 70–60% success with them. I really think it depends on where you buy the kit from. Sometimes the kits are old. You could buy them the wrong time of year. So you just need to do a bit of research with that. But I've never really stuck with it, to tell you the truth. I wish I had more time. And who knows, maybe in the future we may do that. The obsessive gardener, yes, they should be fine when they thaw out. Awesome stuff. Thanks for sharing that. And here we go. It's awesome to see what we are doing in our patch. Yeah, and it's really cool. And I think if it keeps growing and people keep putting things in, I can then pull up quick little shots of inside the Worm Wranglers members area there to show what's sort of going on. And at the moment we're discussing about whether we can have any challenges, those type of things along the line. One we're discussing now at the moment is like a tomato, basil and parsley in a pot or in the ground somewhere together. And you know, if we do it first here in Australia, then it will be done second in, say, the UK and America, and they can watch and learn how it's being done and think, oh, I'm going to do that too, and see all the different trials and things. And it's just an idea, a concept of what we can look at. Like we might look at building say the Taj Mahal together. It comes on the video here. I build a new one, and then we go later on back into like the members area, and then everyone's building one. I can look at it, and seemed like I looked at Pepe's one when I went to his house, but we can do it virtually online. So as long as everything falls in with a time factor and there's people, you know, it's still in the better, as we say, beta or better. I don't know how you pronounce that. Can you grow corn from popcorn kernels? I don't think so. No, I don't think so. You could try, but it is a different type of corn. I believe it's not actually the same corn that we eat and buy. You'd be essentially growing popcorn. But I'm pretty sure the popcorn is the one that they make a microgreen. Now I remember first time doing it, popcorn microgreens. I did not like the flavour at all. I was like, yuck, I'm never growing that again. But it could be a great little chicken food to do, and if you've got a lot of it lying around and it's cheap, yeah, then why not? You can sprout the grain because they eat their corn and go for it from there. All right, so got some great questions been rolling in, and if you've got any questions at all, don't feel afraid to ask them. You might just be sitting there going, oh, I don't want to, people will think I'm stupid if I ask that, but we're all here at different levels, you know, from beginner to intermediate to advanced, and I'm here to help, and I know others are also, as we've seen a couple of people answer some questions in the chat box. And also let me know if you're watching the rerun, if you enjoy watching the little chat box beside us there, and if you enjoy it during the live. Even though I can pull these across to the side, I can't pull everything across, and you might want to watch it and listen to watch what people are saying and interested in the chat. Hey Kieran, no worries mate, you're here, and I know not everyone can make all the shows. That's just impossible. We've been running them every day for the last 12 days or something, but I am going to have a little break. Just got to be careful of burnout and sort of rethink. I've run a lot of tests and trials in here, and I feel as though we're getting quite good. Like they're starting to look nice. The productions are coming through well. And so the next stage really is starting to get guests coming in. And now I've learned the software and sort of learning how to use it all more smoothly. We can make a really good guest experience. And we've got Daniel O'Brien coming this Saturday. And all should go very well with that. And we're looking forward to picking his brains about chickens and how many is the right number for you. So if you're interested in that, get your questions ready for that one too, guys. That'll be really cool. All right. Good question here. Would you share your tsunami survival story with us one day? Wow, you must have been watching some of the shows then and some of the lives and things, because occasionally I pop up about stuff like that. Yes, I just quickly, I lived in Southeast Asia, in Thailand and Malaysia for a little bit. I traveled around Southeast Asia a lot, surfing for years and years. I've been to most countries there, predominantly Indonesia in the beginning stages. when I was living in Thailand, I had a surf school. It was open for about 3.5 years in the monsoon season, and then off season, if I had money, I would just go and just hang out, or I'd do odd jobs and things like that. And I ended up getting a job working for a German boat, 120-foot catch. So that was December. I think it was December 4th that it happened. Yeah, I can't remember what it was, the beginning or 4th of January, something like that. But anyway, there was a lot of people around, and it was, really good weather and stuff. And I was on the boat, and we were a long way out. I was moored around the south end of Phuket, and I was asked to build a kitchen cabinet. Now, I'm hopeless at these type of things, and I was thinking, I don't know if I don't even know how to do this. But I ended up getting out of it because of the tsunami. But that's not a good enough excuse. But we heard the chain, this loud bang, 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 and the captain's called me up, and he's gone, look over the side. There was this big wave coming off this big, thick chain, massive chain, 50 meters out, holding a 120-foot timber boat. So we're talking a serious chain. And we looked around, and all the boats that normally face one way from the wind and current were all spinning around like we're at a Ferris wheel thing, and you hear dogs barking and all this type of stuff. It was really weird. And that water from the chain must have been the water sucking out, so all drawing out as it does from the tsunami. And everything sort of changed again a bit, and then before we knew it, we were looking through the binoculars so we could see the beach was wiped out, and there was cars getting washed out to sea and all this type of stuff. I had to do like a 24 hours. I didn't sleep for a day or more, a couple of hours here and there, just doing rescue and stuff like that. So it was scary time, but I lived through it. And I went over the second wave on a Zodiac, because I told the captain I reckon there might be a second wave after we were doing rescues and dropping people on the beach. Went over the second wave and got back out into the boat, and then doing more rescues and things like that. It was quite, it wasn't a fun time. I didn't keep any of the photos on my computer. One day they just disappeared, and I just thought, I'm not getting them back. So anyway, I survived, tsunami survivor, and that's the quick one of the story. So thanks for asking. I said I'd answer any of the questions. The Q helps Marty to be able to see your questions. And yeah, people like saying g'day to each other in here, which is really cool, and I enjoy that too, this part of the community. And please feel free to ask me any questions. You might want to ask me something a bit personal. If it's too personal, I'll just say no. I won't be offended, But, someone asked me, Mrs. Wobbles, about that. And I did live in Thailand. And, my daughter, Karen, was born there. And we came back when she was a year and a half, nearly 2 years old, to live back in Australia. And we've been here ever since. And we're looking at maybe going back to organise her passport and look at... if I'm there, I won't be able to help myself and do some filming, and then I've got some possibly go to another country like the Philippines and things like that if I've got time, to visit some friends, and then to look at other options into the future of micro farming over there and helping some people set up some systems. But that's a long way off, part of my dream. Carmen's still got to finish school and so many things to happen, but we may get there with the support of the community if they start seeing what I'm doing and what I've been developing over the years of these micro farm systems that can be all done by hand, using worms, compost, growing microgreens, growing baby leaf and all that stuff, and producing an income at the same time. So I know I've enthralled you a bit with my tsunami story there. Scary stuff, and it just looked like a bomb went off basically everywhere, and I didn't lose any friends, which was really nice. I was very blessed with that. Some of them climbed coconut trees, and my mate's grandmother wasn't down there on the beach that day. She was at a temple, and so we just had lots of good luck, basically, and blessings thrown my way. And so just another part of my life. But when I came back from there, I basically started Marty's Garden on the veranda not long after that, and then we had a website called the Potted Vegetable Garden. That did really well. We were getting around about 5,000 views a day to that. I sold that for around about 4,500 because I needed another car, and so the potted vegetable garden ended up being sold on, and they just ruined that website. But it sort of moved on from being more of a website stuff to going and promoting the website through YouTube to eventually just being more full on YouTube, and now looking at going, okay, how do we get the Marty's Garden website up and running a bit better, and how do we start looking at bringing in guests now? So if you're watching this and you're a YouTuber and you're working around organic gardening, beekeeping, permaculture, those type of things, you'll see in my about page there's my email there, and you can email me. May look at getting you on the show. Okay, hi folks, glad to see you all here. I agree. So feel free with any questions that you may have. Let's go back to our Worm Wranglers members area here and have a look at these worms. I think it's definitely worth a look at. And we'll scroll up here and have a look at this post, because I haven't been into this first post yet, and I'm very interested to see what's here. So let's read it out. Today I checked on my worms and gave them a feeding of veggie scraps, all cut up nice and small. Last time the bin was very damp, so I put in extra newspaper to absorb some of the moisture. It seems to have done the job, I think. I'm not sure when they need to be harvested and what the difference is between castings and core. Anyone able to give some advice? I would love to take a clip of harvesting when time comes, but at the moment my support workers and mum are not liking the worms, and maybe more squealing in the clip than anything else, so I don't think it's worth it. We'll see what it's coming up to. Okay, so once the Cheryl, so let's answer that question for you. Will get me in here side by side. So when the worm castings are ready, it turns into more like a clay-like putty. At the moment it looks like it's still very cocoa peatish, and it will go darker and it'll go more dense, and you'll actually grab it and scoop through it and it'll be like a clay. So it looks like it's still got quite a long way to go yet. So I wouldn't be too worried about it. If obviously, obviously they just, it usually takes about 3 months for that to happen like that. So thank you very much for sharing that. And that was from the Worm Wranglers community. So great question if you're thinking about that as well. When do we start to harvest? So generally it's around about 3 months on average, depending on your climate and how many worms you've got in there and what type of bedding and stuff you use. On average it's about 3 months, and you'll see it does look like a clay putty ball. And pretty sure we do talk about that in the members area, the Worm Wranglers members area. And you can actually shape it like putty when it's ready to go. But sometimes I like to get it, if I get the worms out early, I like to get it when it's about 2/3 the way through and still use it. You don't have to always wait till right to the end. Some people do though. Very scary moment. Very scary moment that there is a thank you God moment. Oh, definitely. I was, I know that I was in the right place at the right time for the right reasons, and it's just happened to me that, right through my life. So I feel very blessed that, because others, many did lose their lives, and many I spoke to know people that lost their lives in that. So I'm very grateful. And I actually met my daughter's mother. She were dating, and she came down looking for me, and I thought, wow, what a good woman to come looking for me all the way from Bangkok. But anyway, I don't want to get into that too much, but yeah, very thankful for it. Now, if you've got any questions, please feel free to fire away. We usually go for around about an hour here, and it's been great seeing the questions just sort of roll out on the side of the video as well. I'm looking forward to watching that in the rerun and seeing how it goes, and seeing if people enjoy that longer. One of the concept is for having it there on the side is not only just to change the production value a bit, and to see if people, when they're watching the rerun, will sit there and they want to watch that going through. So so far I like it. I think it's pretty good, but when we're playing other pulling up other images and things, we need to pull it aside because it makes certain images too small and stuff. But Kate says, thanks for streaming, mate. Great content. No problem. Well, I'm going to have a couple of days off. I may, if I think of some other tests and things, I may do some other stuff just briefly in here. Maybe put up a couple of videos in here. But other than that, I'm going to be taking it fairly easy until Saturday. I've got a few jobs around the garden, some things to do, and I'm going to try and get a little bit of me time as well. So let's pull across the next one. Q, I'm interested to know if your collaboration with Mark from Self-Sufficient Me resulted in many more subs. As I know, I came over, was there many more? And did enjoy working with, and did you enjoy working with him? That's a really good question. So I'll start off with the first part. I ended up getting around about 700 subscribers actually from that collaboration. But we don't know like the numbers of how many people actually connect with me and want to keep returning back and watching the content, those type of things. So I've had a handful of people say that they've done that. We had a bit of sort of a boost in numbers as well, and I did another, simplified gardening of Tony. We did a small one that produced about 70 subscribers as well. But sometimes people just subscribe on the hype, and because they subscribe doesn't mean they're going to keep watching the video. So it could be a subscriber number, but they're not an active subscriber. So for me, it's more just about the connection, the active subscriber. And I've noticed that since I've been doing the lives, I've been losing more subscribers. Like I've lost 22 subscribers through the lives in the last, since I've started doing them in the last, well, it only gives me monthly thing. But that's okay. I'm okay with that. It just means that they're not really connected to what I'm doing and it's not suitable for them. So that's totally fine. But, it was worth doing. And at the same time, I made a good friend. That was more important to me. Mark and I have been chatting on phones and emails and things. And, I just made a good friend, and to me that's just way more important than anything else. But I'm grateful, and I'd like to do more collaborations with people too. So hopefully that answered all the questions. I did really enjoy working with him for sure. Morning, Sher. Nice to see you here. Sher's got creating a video for me at the moment. Who knows where she's up to with that, but I'm sure it'll be coming out in the near future. There's no dates or anything set, and we will go from there. Do nematodes and arthropods disrupt the ecosystem of a worm farm? I don't think they do so much. Everything's about, we're really what we're doing is we're creating a soil web, right? So the worm castings in those type of things is really something that, okay, let's, just got to remove something here. This is just, excuse me. Just a bit of spam there. We'll get rid of that. And hopefully that just rolls through. Yeah, they come in from Facebook. Otherwise, we could just totally remove that. So don't just totally ignore that that one coming through there, please, from Facebook. And not sure what you can do on the back end there, Deb, but if you can do anything to block it or whatever, that would be good. Okay, so let's get back. Do nematodes and arthropods disrupt the ecosystem of a worm farm? And just ask some questions, guys. I'll go, and I'll get rid of that comment. So just go, yes, yes, hi, and it'll get rid of that floating on the side there. So my answer would be no, not at all. There's good nematodes and bad nematodes and things like that. And so we really just want to have a good balanced bedding and just keep our worms up. And here we go. I found you from Self-Sufficient Me. Oh, that's awesome, Alison. That's great to know, because I never really know. What happened to you in the surf this morning, lol? I didn't go, lol. I woke up and then, yeah, that's why I'm taking the next couple of days off. I'm going to try and have a paddle if the wind's right. The wind's at northeast and we need southeast wind, so yeah, it's not really happening unless there's like really quiet, the wind. Marty, I've built up a bunch of castings that have completely dried. Is there a way to reactivate the microbes? There are some microbes still in there, I believe, when it's dry, because they do sell dry castings and they promote that there's activation. But look, there's still like a lot of nutrients in there. So you just need to add a bit of moisture. That will get them going a little bit. Just a little like spray, not too wet, but just a little hand spray one. And that should work. Okay, let's keep going here. So here we go. Everyone's going, hey, 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 we got rid of that dude. Awesome stuff. Thanks, guys. And I appreciate that. And do I still teach surfing? No, I don't teach surfing. Every now and again, I might teach someone, a friend or something like that. But I'm not in the... I started a surfing channel a while ago before I got this house, because I was got, you know, Marty's Garden. The surfing channel would make way more money than Marty's Garden, to be honest, as far as AdSense goes, because I was getting 30,000 views and stuff like that on a video. From 5,000 to 30,000 views, only 10 videos in there. I was smashing it. But I prefer to do this, and this is where I believe where God's put me, to grow plants and grow people. So yeah, hi everyone. So thanks for that. We got rid of that dude. And if you feel free to ask any questions, we've still got 9 minutes to go on the show, and happy to do that. All right, let's keep moving through. Let me know also what you think about the chat box on the side here. If you've been watching the video right through in the rerun, love to know in the comments. And if you've been sort of like had chance, you know, any of your favorite videos that you've watched this week that you've got the most value from, or something that you've learned something from, I'd really love to hear that before we head off. And I'll play a little bit of tunes at the end. I've got to get a video sorted to play that Michael Shines to the River song, the theme song, which I think I can pull up a video and then play it towards the end, possibly. If I go onto YouTube and play it on the YouTube at the end, that may work. Not real sure. We could give it a go, but I don't know if I'll get a community strike. Got to be a bit careful things like that. Doing things with music. I played an old video last night, a rerun, and it had some old music way back, and they take away your monetary. So it goes, this video can't be monetized, and then they give the money to the other person or just say no. And so it makes that video sort of useless in a way, unless it's providing lots and lots of value. So I did remove it. The message box is the bomb. Well, thanks, mate. That's great. I think what I can do is put it through in the right parts when we're doing the Q&A towards the end. I think that's the right time to pull it up. I really quite enjoy it. When will we get more content out in the garden? I do like your streams, but I think your best content is out and about. I'm about to do some very soon. We're about to go out into the out in the garden. I've got to move the farms, worm farms, and then we've got to sort of have a bit of a look around. The thing is and I will be doing both, but the thing is with the out and about gardens, and I've got to be totally honest, and people when they hear this stuff, they just unsubscribe. But you know, it doesn't get, unless you're doing content like Mark from Self-Sufficient Me, which isn't my style, it doesn't get a lot of traction. And I will create some of those list videos where it's step by step by step by step, or this step one, this number two, number three, you know, like those more list style videos when more plants are growing and things like that. So they're in the pipeline. They're the type of hero videos. But just going out and about in the garden, to be honest, my last video that I made, the 6-month one, it only made $17, right? And so I put a day into making $17. It's, you know, we just got to look at the reality of it all on the type of content that's being made. If I was to keep making content like that, and I wasn't micro farming, selling the compost worms, those type of things, then yeah, which we're trying to build up now. But this stuff, once we start getting the guests in, you'll be surprised. Things will really step up. And also I'm dragging videos in at the beginning. So you will be seeing me outside shooting the videos, and then we're bringing them into the live shows as well. So they'll be coming out as a video. So tomorrow we've got the one at Pepe Fasos's farm, the worm farming and the worm tea one. So that's a video. And then I'll be putting videos together, and then I'll be introducing them and then bringing them into the live, and then hopefully bringing a guest in later. And I can really work on scale then and actually keep this channel alive. Otherwise, it's just not worth it. I mean, we only earned, I think we only did 500 US or something on the channel. No, I only did 500 Aussie this yeah, just a bit over 500 Aussie this month. It's the worst month I've done in years. And yeah, so volume, we've gone from 47,000 to 60,000 views by bringing out more volume, and people are going in, joining the Worm Wranglers members area, things like that. So it's actually, there's growth here to actually make it sort of worthwhile. So I'm trying to mix it up and trying to get the best thing for everyone that I can. I think people get notification fatigue with all the live streams and other content. Yeah, I get that. Basically, just watch what you want, you know. Otherwise, look, be honest, I'm either in and here. As I said, I always will be honest from the very beginning right through. I'm either in here or I'm not. You know, I go out, I go to film school, I start making films, and Marty Garden just gets canned. That's the honest truth to it. It's not, at the moment, it's not even sustainable. We just spent 140 US dollars on this software, and we're going to trial it for a while, see how things go. But, you know, as I said, I only made 500 bucks last month from the channel, and it's not enough money. It's just the honest truth. So if this works, a lot of content rolling out, things like that, and there's some videos stick and stuff, and then it gets, you know, found in search and things, and it's rolling out. And so as I'm getting more watch time, YouTube's sharing more people. As I'm producing more videos, more people are finding me. Then they're returning to the live shows. So I'm actually having growth for the first time in about over a year. We might even have 2 years where we have just been flatlining like that in the stats. We've actually got growth now. So yeah, I just got to keep doing this for now, and just stick with me. And if you don't like it near the end, yeah, I've got to do, all I can do is what I can do. But who knows what we may come up with when I start going back to film school and things like that. I'll just keep trying to improve this, and I will get out in the garden soon. And we got one out in Pepe's garden tomorrow. All right, where's the best place to get worms from to start a worm farm in southeast Queensland, Gold Coast? Get them from my mate wormbiz.com.au, and tell Pete Marty sent you. He'll send them to you. All right, so we're at 57 minutes now, and thanks for the honest answer. Why your watch count is low is beyond me. It's a good channel. You are very informative and deserves to be doing better. Thank you very much, Anthony. Thank you, mate. It's all to do with the beginning of the videos, the first 30 seconds. It's got to do with the thumbnail, how good the thumbnail is. So if they move across, and then you get a high rate of people watching from the thumbnail, or that little short clip at the beginning. So the first 30 seconds got to capture them. If it does really well in the first 30 seconds, then it gets shown to more people. And then if it does better in the first few minutes, it gets shown to more people, and it goes out to people who've never seen you before. And yeah, look, YouTube, it's a tricky game, guys. So at the moment, volume is my friend, and we'll see, as long as I don't burn out, right? But just trying to keep it real and just be honest with you all the time. And I'm going to have a good shot at it. You know, we'll trial this over the next 3 months, getting guests in and things like that. And the video podcasting is doing really well on YouTube, and it's not going to be a fad ongoing trend. And I believe that I can grow with it and survive. Otherwise, we have to go back to just straight out micro farming again, and the odd video about that and in the garden. And that's more, it's really just more like a little money hobby sort of thing. Perhaps a variety of gardening views and tips would be great. For those not wanting to YouTube or build a business, it all gets lost. I'm trying to stick more with the gardening stuff. We're not looking really in the business things anymore. The business stuff is more just like, again, okay, if the channel's not performing as good as what I would like, it's not sustainable, then what I do is I vlog and I film my shows and show what's going on, what I'm growing, how I'm growing it, and I use that to sell my products. That's what I've done for years, and sell my compost and sell my microgreens and all that type of stuff. And it was my own marketing system. So a bit different to how the other people were doing it, but worked for me. But now I'm shifting into trying to make YouTube really work. And I'm getting older. I don't want to be digging out there all the time. I want to be out in the garden getting enough food to eat for myself, and to I sell some eggs, give away some food to friends, and then look at down the line, where do we go with this now? Because I've kicked all the goals. The next goal is to try and get to Southeast Asia and build these micro farms over there eventually, or just go for a quick stint and do a quick stint there and just start somewhere. If I'm supposed to go there, it will happen. Marty, pump out a lot of those shorts vids. It helps with the algorithm. What I can do actually is I can go into my videos and I can take out a section, a 15-second section of the video, which I think is valuable, and then I can share it from there. So it's a way of repurposing. I'm looking at all these different ways we can repurpose. So even like these good questions, I can turn them into a little quick short video, or we can actually create them into like a 1-minute video, or I can put 4 or 5 of them together. Just looking at ways we can repurpose things so I don't burn out. And one of the reasons why creating a show like this is so I can repurpose, because it just, to be honest, it just wasn't really working. And thank you very much, Hookers Graham, I appreciate it. Sounds good. Agree with Pinball Wizard. So yeah, I'll just be looking at that, extracting little shorts out of my long form content. And again, thanks everyone for sticking with me. And again, I just want to be honest. Like we're not really making much money at the moment. When I added it on, I looked at the also at our Buy Me a Coffee members area, and so I did 600 last month with that as well. But the members area needs to grow, and then people, they're just coming and going out of those, and that was flatlining as well. It wasn't growing. It's actually going down just slowly. The members area, what it does is it provides stability. So I can look and go, oh yeah, the members area is growing. We know exactly how much is going to be coming in each month from the members area. And obviously I've got to add value to the members for people to want to stay on. But yeah, that's sort of one thing that we're looking at. And hopefully a few of these videos stick, more people start coming in and rolling on, and like my authenticity. And we'll just see where it goes from there. But I do appreciate each and every one of you. And when some people leave super chats and things like that, and super stickers and stuff, they get scoot over and buy me a coffee. Sometimes people leave a donation as well in there, and that really that's just awesome when that happens, because that we can then go out and buy more things for the garden and stuff. So yeah, what was to say? I was watching you with Young and with your micro gardening. Then we went missing off my stream. That's when I went to me. Okay. It's self-sufficient me. Yeah, like probably, I don't know why. It's just it's just the algorithms change and all these type of things. Similar to the live eagle cams and nature cams, having a translucent worm farm for people to tune in at times of the day would be unique and soothing. Yes, they like dark, so it's hard to get the light in there, right? That's I've thought of that many times. But yeah. And it says here, I'm back. Nowhere is too big for me. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. And as I said, I'm just trying to always just keep it real in here and share what's going on and sort of moving forward. So we've gone over a bit over an hour, and it's been really, hopefully you've learned a lot and you've learned a little bit more about myself, and that we're building connections in here. It's another reason why I'm doing the lives as well, is the connection in here, and the experience is really important. But I do need to get outside and do some more filming. So we might back off on the lives just for a little bit, and then I'll bring them and I'll start looking at ways. So I've got to redesign stuff to repurpose it so I can keep my volume up. Such as, like I was saying, with the shorts, extracting them out of the long form, shooting videos in sections and having a long video and taking sections out of that and having short ones and things. So I've got a bit of research to do, But it's been really awesome, everyone just turning up, and we'll keep rolling with it, because I feel that there's a future here for me in this style of content, and that I can actually grow and reach people. And I've told many people that are close to me, I've nearly quit Marty's Garden so many times, just for the fact that it was just getting less and less sustainable as it was becoming more and more competitive. Hi Marty, visiting your setup at North Haven has inspired me to give it a go. Yeah, well, it was really nice meeting you, Bronwyn. Sorry, I thought you were Daniel's wife, but you're his mother, right? And I can see the face there now. So yeah, it was inspiring for me also, and also coming out onto the farm out there on your guys' place. And I'm really looking forward to seeing Dan this Saturday, and I'll get ready for that. May I suggest merchandise as revenue? I was looking at that. We didn't get accepted into the Amazon merch. I think Amazon have got big problems at the moment. And you do need to have big numbers, like you need to be sort of 100,000 and up. But we will look at that if I can find the time. I'm a little time poor at the moment with getting everything. Got to get the website up and stuff, and so much to do. The website's running, but at the moment it just says you can go there and get the worm farming ebook, the older version. The new version's in Amazon, which is basically the same book, just some new pictures and a little bit of update. And then it's like there was some compost in there that I was selling, so I've got to go through and fix all that up, and I can embed the live show, and so there's a lot to do. So if I do disappear for a little while to work behind the scenes, I'll let you all know. But we'll look at repurpose and because not everyone watches all the videos, not everyone watches all of them, those type of things. Bronwyn, we got the worms from you originally, and they've oh wow, they come from Marty's Garden ones. Now I remember. It's all starting to click with me now. And Pinball says here, you are not allowed to quit, Marty. We won't let you. Yeah, they'll be stamping out the front with the flags. We want Marty. We want Marty. Look, I will always do my very best. I will never fully disappear. But, if I have to go out of not being as a part of my, like backing off as an income stream, but I just want to have a good shot at it, and have a really good shot and go with it. And if you guys, can help by watching videos longer, sharing my content, and just being involved as much as you can. Says, I'm not going anywhere. I'm hooked, Marty, as something magic here straight up. Well, thank you very much. It's so awesome. So right, Pinball Wizard. Thank you so much. Someone says shirts and mugs. We have been looking, I got my daughter to look at designing some, and and sort of going from there. And so Deborah B's been helping me a little bit, talking about some different things. And so we are sort of working slowly behind the scenes to see if we can make this pop and make this work. What's the title of your ebook in Amazon? It's called Starting a Worm Farm Beginner's Guide. I believe there's a link in the description down below, but if you go into Amazon, Starting a Worm Farm Beginner's Guide, you will find it there. And we've got our first super chat for the day. Thank you so much for that. I do appreciate it. Like I said, every little bit helps. I don't have the clapping crowd software in the background anymore, but I look like a little seal, don't I? I get a bit crazy at times. Thank you so much for that, Hookstagram. Really appreciate it. And I am emotionally connected to this group, to community, and to my audience, and that is, you can see that I'm real and that I really truly am. And I want to work on growing with people as well as growing food, but we need to get outside and do some more videos out there and sort of start learning to mix it into these lives and things like that. So I am going to head off now, guys. What we do towards the end of the show now, don't leave just yet. I need you to do something. Can you please say goodbye to your friends and new people that you've met in here? And if there's someone that you haven't seen before in here, I would like you to say goodbye to them too, or say hello to them. Let's make connections. Let's look at ways we can grow people and grow this community, and ways we can just keep putting more and more value into it and just make it better and better. And as I said, I need to get outside and film, but I also need to get outside and have a surf. Who knows? If it's not windy now, I might even go surfing. It's only 10:41 here. So please start saying goodbye. I'm going to pull some tunes across, and I got some chill music here. They change it all the time, but we'll just see what it's like today. Oh, there we go. Sort of always a bit sort of soft, chill DJ stuff. Say goodbye to everyone. I'll pull them across. Thank you so much for that. Just every little bit helps so much. Really appreciate it. Alison Gilbert. Blessings to you and the family. Let's change the music. They change it all the time. I don't know why they just keep it the same, so then I know what I'm getting is what I'm getting. I'm going to complain to them about that. Let's put on some other style music here. Bye bye. See you next time. Quickly, I am muted. I had it off. While I was playing the music. And thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day. Happy gardening. We'll see you at the next, well, Saturday, right? Definitely. I might have some videos coming out before then, just some quick repurpose ones. But Saturday, Daniel O'Brien, Chicken Tractor Man. Be there or be square, my friends. Bye for now.